The first UFC pay-per-view event of 2021 goes down this Saturday as Conor McGregor returns and fights Dustin Poirier in the main event of UFC 257. While in the co-main event, Michael Chandler makes his much-awaited UFC debut against top contender Dan Hooker. And you can watch it go down live by ordering UFC 257 pay-per-view, which will be exclusively available on ESPN+. And did you know you can subscribe to the Disney Bundle, which includes Disney+, ESPN+, and Hulu, the perfect trifecta of content for just $12.99 a month. And if you're an existing ESPN Plus subscriber, you can upgrade to the Disney Bundle offer for just $8.82 a month. The Disney Bundle has something for everyone, so don't wait. Click in the link in the description and sign up for the bundle offer today.
Conor McGregor has been very uncharacteristically, well, I shouldn't say that because he did the same thing with Donald Cerrone. He's been very nice this week, you know. Him and Dustin.
Well, I was going to say, what did you did you see the weigh-in between them? Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I saw some little bits of the press conference as well.
What was Conor saying to Dustin? Because I couldn't pick it up.
I forget the words verbatim, but it was nothing. It was like, me and you, we both know what it's like to be in there. It's on type thing. There was no particular trash talk or shit talk. Conor looks very focused, as does Dustin. You know, the thing is, when you fight like that, when you've shared the octagon, which they did in the past, you know, then you kind of, there's a level of respect there for the most part. You know, sometimes you end up hating the guy, but generally you don't. And they were going to fight, and then Conor's made a contribution to his foundation to give a big charitable donation. So it's respectful, and it's all just business, you know, coming into this one. And I think Conor's trying to lull him into a false sense of security. Conor's a fast starter. Dustin isn't necessarily a slow starter, but he's not a fast starter like Conor, you know. So Conor's just playing nice. Yeah, we're all pals here. We're just going to go out there, have a little sparring match. And as soon as it says start, boom, when the referee's like, bring it on, come on, or let's get it on, whatever it is, he's just going to attack him and try and catch him off guard. Well, you're smart to do that, you know. If I was putting a bet on this, I'd put my money on Conor for sure. Obviously, they fought in the past. It took about 90 seconds for Conor to get him out of there. It was one-way traffic. Conor wasn't just lucky. It wasn't a lucky punch. You know, he went out there, he beat him. He was beating him to the punch, beating him to the kick. He worked the body a little bit. He worked the legs. You know, he beat him, and then he dropped him with the left hand and then followed it up. Since then, both guys, I think Conor's 6-2, Dustin's 10-2. And then here's the big thing. Dustin obviously mentally has matured a lot. Going into that first fight, he was very, very emotional. The trash talk had got to him. Conor was definitely in his head, and he was fighting on emotion. And I've talked about this ad nauseum many, many times. That's not the way you want to be going into a fight. Now, Dustin's matured a lot, and coming into this one, the bad blood isn't there. So he's going to have a different mental approach, and that will help him. However, if you look at the two people, right, as I said, one's gone 6-2 and one's gone 10-2.
Who has improved more since 2014, Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier?
Conor McGregor, and I'll tell you why. So I was thinking back, actually, and we had a bit of it. That's why I was texting you the question. That when we fought the first time, we were a very small setup. You're talking really me. You know, Sergio was only kind of starting with his own. Roddy was just kind of coming into his own as being a striking coach. So a very inexperienced team training in a windy warehouse in Dublin, you know, all those years ago, and we get our first big fight in America. And you know, there's a funny story, I'll maybe tell you another time, about me and Artem arriving in Vegas first, and we got put up in the Red Rock, and we didn't realize some of the things in the room we were allowed to have. So very, like, you know, kind of immature and inexperienced, and bright-eyed looking around at everything. No real formal full-time conditioning coach. No real understanding of the data that we now have on them, on sleep patterns, on heart rate, resting heart rates, on VO2 max, on lactate training zones. All of these things, you know, you're really comparing Stone Age warriors to guys now measuring things with lasers. Dustin was already a member of, Globo Gym at that stage. He already had this incredible, maybe the most beautiful facility in MMA. They have a billionaire backer. I'm still looking for one of them. Very experienced full-time coaches, and he had a lot behind him that we really didn't. We had a bit of a crazy guy with a big left hand, and the rest of us were doing our best.
It's Michael Chandler's first fight. It's his debut in the UFC. This kid's got 9 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's a Division I All-American wrestler. He's got 12 first-round finishes, and it's his first time in fighting in the UFC. And not only in the big show, but in the biggest show, a co-main event of a Conor McGregor fight. So I'm sure he's feeling a lot of pressure, and he's going in against a guy in Hooker who is a very, very nasty guy.
I think he's the tallest guy in the division, which isn't that big of a deal for me. I mean, obviously, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm 5'9", so I'm about average height. So I fight a lot of guys who are taller than me, and I've got numerous knockouts against guys who are taller than me. I have a knack for being able to close that distance, get inside, kind of Mike Tyson guys, if you will. I think I'm going to put pressure on Dan Hooker, and I'm going to put him off, kind of on his back foot. But he's tough everywhere. He's dangerous everywhere. He's a dangerous striker. He's got power in both hands, power in his kicks. You saw what he did to Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is now, essentially next in line for the title, and he's always up in that upper echelon for the title. So, I just see more holes in other guys' games than I do a guy like Dan Hooker, who has looked really, really well aside from his loss to Poirier. He still looks phenomenal. He just lost that fight, but maybe it's in my head. Maybe that's me trying to stay sharp, knowing that I got a very, very tough test ahead of me. Like I said, I wanted to fight Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson was my number one choice because I thought he was the scariest guy in the division, the boogeyman. To me, I think Dan Hooker is probably the second scariest guy in the division. So let me go ahead and go out there, get my first win inside that UFC octagon, and then we'll be off to the races. 2021, I get that title.
There's no secrets in this sport anymore. When you get to 14 UFC fights, the information's out there. The things you're good at are out there. Your basic good stuff is. So really you have to start becoming somewhat of a specialist or work with specialists in that regard. So particularly for me, I know that no matter what she's gonna try to throw at me, I have an answer to. I know she's a big Muay Thai fighter, so I know she hears me talk about my wrestling all the time, but if she tries to throw leg kicks, I'm double legging her, and if she's not throwing kicks, then I'm punching her. So I think that we both can see how this fight's gonna go, and if she tries to take me down, I'll stuff the takedown and use my strike. So wherever the fight goes, I know I'll be prepared.
If Miocic continues to fight at the rate that he does, that means that he would fight in 21 against one person. If he wins, now the belt will wait till 22 when he fights that next time. I doubt it, but if he loses, Ngannou will fight because if Ngannou wins the fight, he's going to knock him out. So it won't be a long fight. So Ngannou will turn around and fight again. So I think if for the heavyweight division, it would be better if Miocic doesn't hold the belt, but dude's good, man. He ain't going to be easy to get that belt off of.
So who you got next week? Conor or Dustin? Who are you thinking?
First 2 rounds, Conor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. If it's early
is Conor, but 3rd round, number 4, I think Dustin can beat this guy.
This fight with Poirier is trending bigger than the fight with you and Conor on pay-per-view. Imagine what you and Conor would do in another fight. Just saying. I'm just saying.
if for the heavyweight division, it would be better if Miocic doesn't hold the belt, but
you do that to me, I love you.